These are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends.
This episode is brought to you by testkitplus.com. We all know how important it is to prioritize your health and well-being, especially when it comes to recreational activities. That's why we want to tell you about our buddies over there. They can be your go-to resource for high-quality, easy-to-use recreational test kits. Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, attending a music festival, or just having a good time with your friends, it's really important to make sure you know what you're putting into your body. So head on over to testkitplus.com/professional hippies. That way you can be sure you're safe and you have the peace of mind of what you're putting in your body. They have test kits designed to detect a wide range of substances, providing accurate and reliable results in the comfort of your own home. Knowledge is power, so don't leave anything to chance. Again, that's testkitplus.com/professional hippies. Yeah, which one, right? Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Professional Hippies. We're your professionals this evening. Yeah, I'm feeling professional this evening. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Hey, if you're just joining us, welcome to our show. Sometimes we have on professionals, sometimes we have on hippies. A lot of times we like to try and meet it somewhere in the middle there. If you enjoy this episode, you feel so inclined, please send us hate mail. That's how we know you're really appreciating this episode. This episode, hey, you might have heard from one of our sponsors at the beginning. You might hear from another sponsor in the middle. Can't really guarantee that we're going to serve up capitalism, but we can guarantee we're going to ramble a little bit, probably go off topic, just see where the evening takes. If you want to put on some slow jazz, a tutu, sit back, uncurl those nasty toes, then hey, you found your home. How was that? I really wanted to bring some passion that time.
Bravo. I love how every episode is different. That's my favorite part of however we're
I try. One day we're gonna have a producer of this and they're gonna be like, read the script, dude. Just read the script.
I am the script, bro.
One of the things that we were talking about before we got on here that I loved, I honestly think that it ended up my being the title of this episode is like, learn that skill. I feel like the last couple of years of my life, I look at problems where you're just like, I could pay someone to do that, or I could just learn how to do it, and then I have that skill forever. You know, whether it's fixing the roadcaster, fixing something in the house, like that just feels like that's been a theme since I bought that house in Tampa. I feel like that's when the theme started coming alive. Home ownership tends to tease out that theme, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, it's the budget line. When you start hearing like the number, you're like, that number's a little too high. Like I'll figure it out on my own.
Dude, what I hate is every time I mow my lawn, I can't get your voice out of my head. You're like, see, only takes an hour or two. Last weekend, I was mowing all these weeds down and stepping in so much dog shit. I'm like, I'm really.
But you let your grass get so tall. You don't do a manageable. Like,
well, also it's mainly because we haven't put in sod, so it's not grass.
It's all
weeds.
Like weeds and crap.
Yeah, so I'm not like, I don't want to take care of it. And now that we're getting like this perfect weather in Austin, when I was sold on the vision of Austin, it's the weather we got right now. So it's just beautiful, serene. Everything's like green and lush. It's not hot. It's not cold. I thought that's the weather in Austin. So right now, like all the weeds and grass everywhere is thriving. It looks like there's fertilizer all over the neighborhood. Give it a couple months, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the same with Florida right now. Florida's in like that perfect weather time frame.
So Abby and I have I think I texted you about this, right? Like we started picking up steam. We're looking at houses, trying to forecast when we want to do it, when we want to make the move. And there was like a really nice property that Abby sent me. Isn't it funny how much better the pictures show than the house? Like now you've been through the process. You bought a couple properties. I've been through the process, bought a couple. You know what to look for, right?
Oh, yeah.
So immediately I'm hitting the Google Street View and I'm like, oh, there's a trap house. Oh, there's a used car lot on the corner.
Yeah, they really know how to put lipstick on a pig on those things for sure.
Dude, this
Like,
house, to get to the master bedroom, I mean, it's a flip for sure. And they did a beautiful job. But to get to the master bedroom, you have to go from the kitchen through the laundry room to the master bedroom.
that's a rental property if I ever heard one. For sure. Could have been
I'm
an
like,
addition
was that a
too.
garage or something? You know, like probably was a garage that they closed in. Now I'm thinking about it.
My favorite's walk it when I was looking at houses and you walk into the house and you feel yourself walking up. It's
Mm.
like a floor, regular floor. There's no stairs, but you
Mm-hmm.
feel yourself walking up and you just like, I'm going to go look at the slab outside. You just see it slowly sinking.
That's the thing with all of the properties in Austin, at least in the area. Austin's pretty bad in general, but at least the area that I live in. I was talking to my neighbor the other day. I was like, "Hey, you have the same cracks I do." He's like, "Dude, we all the clay it's built on and how much it moves just to get that fixed. I think it's like 15 grand or something. You know, 'cause you got to get the
Wow.
pillars to support.
Mm.
But if it's not like really, really bad, I mean, every house is going to settle a little bit. It's just my house kind of looks like a woman that's been through maybe 3 or 4 marriages looking for money, got stress cracks all over the place.
It is looking for money. It's looking to be fixed. It's like,
Yeah.
please.
I'm like, here's some more lipstick.
Oh yeah, like that's a lot of people are starting to raise their houses in this neighborhood too. You're starting to see it. There's also a ton of houses for sale in this neighborhood right now. It's pretty
Well, you
wild.
guys had a lot of flooding. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
it's just,
tons of people are just moving out. They're like,
mm-hmm.
yeah. It's a lot of people that have lived here for a long time, and then they just got hit 3 years back to back of bad floods. So
Yeah.
now these people have lived here for a long time. They have a lot of equity in their house. They're like, let's just get out while it's on top.
Yeah. That's the other thing I'm worried about, though, if we move back to Florida, is the insurance situation. That seems like that's just been going up and up and up and up. Have you noticed it pretty bad or?
It's not terrible for me just because for flood insurance wise, it's not terrible for me because since the house was built in 52, I get grandfathered in to the older flood insurance rates. So
Okay.
I don't get the new flood insurance rates, but I have heard from people definitely complaining about it.
Have you made any claims?
I did make one claim after this big one. I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it really hasn't affected my insurance yet. Who knows what
Right.
could happen, but I haven't been
Yeah.
tagged yet for it too bad. And my other property, the flood insurance is it's not bad there either. Eventually it's going to come down to probably just one insurance company in Florida. I did learn that whoever turns out to be the last insurance company in Florida, they're not allowed to leave legally.
Mm.
They are like stuck there, which will probably be Citizens in the end.
I saw some kind of metric the other day from a influencer or whatever. Like they pulled up the profit loss for insurance companies. I think it was Geico. I could be wrong on this. I mean, I'm definitely going on a limb, but they lost like $5 billion over the year. That's just so hard for me to like. How?
Wait, they were on a loss? Like that was at the end of the year, they were on a $5 billion loss?
Yeah, and it could have been in a certain asset category, right? It could have been, say, like home insurance or something.
Yeah, I feel like insurance companies are amazingly profitable. I don't feel
Right?
like that had to have been just like a division of something.
I mean, who
Or
are you
maybe-
insured with?
Unless they Citizens. And so unless they like actively go out of their way to try to be non-profitable for some reason. We made no money this year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that
I would
that
assume
is
for
the thing.
tax purposes they might do that. They're just like, look at all this money we spent. Look at all this money we gave all of our clients.
Yeah,
We denied no claims this year.
and insurance companies are definitely really good for not approving claims.
They love doing that. That's like their favorite thing.
But when you make a claim, that makes your insurance go up, right?
Yeah, because you used your insurance.
Right.
That's the same with medical benefits. If you have high utilization, you get dinged. It's like same thing with car insurance.
Man, nothing pisses me off more than insurance. You know, it's like you're paying for something that. Okay, so the property casualty industry recorded a $24 billion loss last year. No, excuse me, in the first half of last year.
I wonder if that's an average or if that's like some companies that just ended up going bankrupt. And it's not counting the big guys.
Yeah. Not totally sure. This is why we need a Jamie. You
Pull
know?
that shit up, Joe.
Yeah. Pull it up. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Homeownership is delightful. I'm going to think about all the projects that we want to do, and I'm like, yeah, but I really want to make a new mix. I got all this music that I'm trying to mix, and
That's
more fun.
I always laugh at when people are like, oh, they're charging such high rent, for this property, right? It's like most of it's because the taxes keep going up. Like if you want to live here, that's part of paying the taxes in this area is paying
I
part of the
do
rent.
genuinely wonder, like, how the cost of everything continues to go up, and we somehow keep making it. It just feels weird. Like $20 is not what $20 used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our lifetime, we feel that. Like in the last decade, like I can definitely look at $100 bill and be like, you're not what this once was.
Yeah. Well, you're starting to see a lot of corporations go against. When the corporations start losing money, that's when they start turning against whatever government's in power at that time. And you're starting to see that now because they're like, hey, our revenue is going down. People are so broke they can't even go to Walmart now.
Yeah.
They can't even go to McDonald's now, even though cost of McDonald's is like going to freaking Applebee's now. But
I said the same thing the other day. My buddy that has a kid, I was like, honestly, you couldn't pay me to go to McDonald's. Like I don't remember the last time, because the price is so close to just getting like a real burger.
I had to go get a burger because I was coming back from like the airport at like 3 a.m. or something, right? And I was like, fuck, I just need a burger. And I went there. It was like $12, $13. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just got a burger, fries, and a drink.
Yeah.
Diet Dr. Kelp.
All right. So it was Allstate that lost out last year. So
Allstate
Progressive had a 3%, Travelers 5% profitability margin. Allstate was negative 5% as a company.
I don't believe that at all.
Well, they have citations, so this looks like a pretty true, dependable article.
If that was the case, their stock wouldn't continue to keep going up right now.
Is it going up? Do we know that?
August 29th, 2023 to now, they've had about a 60-point jump.
Whatever, dude. I don't know. I'm just speaking regurgitated facts. Hey, you know who I got to see last week? Tom Segura. That was a really good show.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
The weird thing to take in, I was telling Abby about this, going to a Excision show and essentially seeing, half garmented women everywhere that are pretty attractive to a Tom Segura crowd was so night and day different.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that sat next to me, chill dude. It was the people in front that got up. They got up during the show, the main act. This couple got up collectively about 6 times. I'm like, what did you come to the show? Because every time 7 other people are having to get up with them to let them scoot by. Everybody by the end of the show was like, dude, what are you guys
really
doing?
It was that bad? Holy shit.
Dude, it was so bad. Because like one of them would get up, they would get back, and then the other's like, you know what? I could hear their conversation. They're right in front of me, and they're like, should I go? I don't know. I feel like it's rude. And he's like, no, it's your show too. Enjoy it. Go.
It's your show too. Go enjoy
But the guy next to me got up to get a beer, and he came back, and I had my beer right there. He dunked his whole lanyard, keys and all, in my beer. Dude, because we heard the jingle. Dude sat down, he looked over, and he's like, oh shit, my bad. And he stood up real quick, and I was like, I mean, I'm still going to drink it. It's a $15 beer. The thing I felt really bad about for him is that his car keys were definitely probably on that lanyard. And I mean, it's like, that's got to ruin the key for sure. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
maybe
But
not, but for sure,
probably.
for sure, definitely ruined it.
Because it was like a little stretchy lanyard and it had his Garmin on it or whatever they're called, the multi-tool.
Yeah,
That shit sunk like a rock. I was like,
cleaned off
dude,
all whatever he was scooping up with his keys, though. Got those
I
nice and clean.
know. I'm like, dude, keys go everywhere, dude. And I don't even have a buzz. I was like, I really want to enjoy the show and I'd like to get a buzz, but I drink so infrequently now that
Yeah,
like a cheap, like whatever I had, it wasn't like a beer, it was like a pineapple soda, hard soda thing, the Doritos hard soda. So it sounded good, and then you're
hmm
a quarter into it, and you're like, "This is not." I should have just got like a Bush Light. This ain't it, But I'm like, $15, whatever. I'll finish it.
when I
So
went and saw Stavros, it was hilarious because it's we all know Stavros, the type of guy he is. So he was like, the real winners tonight are all the girlfriends that came tonight. Y'all are real champs. Y'all had no idea what you were getting into, and I know all of y'all are going, "What the fuck?" So I appreciate all of y'all coming out tonight to deal with me.
my favorite part about that dude is he like now that he's reached like real genuine success, he can be even more like what he's thinking on stage type of deal.
Yeah, it's so
Not like he
funny.
was pulling punches before, but he doesn't give a fuck now. He'll just tell you
Man.
exactly what he's thinking.
That's just that he's just someone that's like, I know what I look like. I know how I act. I don't give a shit. If you think it's
Yeah.
funny, great. If you don't, I don't care. You paid me.
Yeah. And I keep seeing the Matt Rife saga of trying to cancel him continue. Have you seen anything about that?
Yeah, dude, I was at a buddy's wedding, and at the end of the night, I just went outside to smoke a cigar, and these two random people came and sat next to me, and they started shitting about Matt Rife. They're like, "Do you like Matt Rife?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's pretty good. His
Yeah.
crowd work's pretty good." And they were like, "Oh," and I was like, "Why do you hate Matt Rife?" And they're like, they couldn't really come up with anything. They're just like, "We think he's annoying." I'm like, his
Okay.
content's pretty funny. I don't.
Yeah. It's comedy as well. Like you're not going to like, there's like a ton of comedians where I'm like, I don't really see it. Like every now and then they're kind of funny because I have a lot of comedian things come up on my feed or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go out of my way to shit on them because I don't appreciate their comedy.
I love people that do good crowd work, and he does
Yeah.
great crowd work, and he leans into his looks with
Mhm.
everything too. And I think that's awesome. He's like, yeah, I look pretty good, so I'm going to lean into that, and I'm going to make fun of y'all for thinking that. I
Yeah,
love
because
that.
he genuinely has grinded as a comedian. Like that's the thing. It's like
100%.
he's done what a comedian is expected to do, and like yeah, he had like this meteoric rise, but at the same time, it's like
Also was on Wild and Out.
yeah,
Like,
with
did
some
pretty well
fucked
on
up
Wild and Out.
teeth. By the way, that's my
Yeah.
favorite part.
Yeah.
You go back and look at them teeth, son, and you're like, oof, success might not
You
be
could
in your
tell.
future.
You could tell when he started getting a little bit of money. Bro was not as good looking back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck him for being good looking and getting his teeth fixed. How
Fuck
dare
him
he?
for figuring life out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Dude's
Damn.
trying to take care of his mental health and work out, look good, slay
What a piece
chicks
of
on the
shit.
road. How dare he? Come down to the bottom of the bucket of crabs, buddy. Let's pull you back in.
Man, he's got huge problem with insomnia, and I
Yeah.
relate to that so much. I did not know that he started talking about that. I was like, oh man, I understand that so much.
Dude, the weird thing is now, because we wake up so early, go to the gym. When my brother was in town, we worked out at like 7:30. I was able to work out so much harder. Like it felt great to be in the gym. I could just tell my natural body clock was like excited because that is just typically when I do love to work out. Working out at like 5, I think 5:30 is about the time like we get to the gym, start working out. So we go to bed at about 8:30. My body is just like a do some pre-workout, get some electrolytes in me or whatever, and dude, your body's just like fighting it. And I used to feel like I could only operate at 8 hours of sleep, like I was religious 8 hours of sleep, or like 7 and make up for it. Now I'm pretty consistently operating on like 6.5, 7 hours.
Mhm.
And my sleep score with the Oura Ring or whatever like tells you how much sleep you actually got. That was a really interesting reframe to see. It's like you can still be a pretty productive human being, but you definitely notice a difference between when you're getting really good sleep and suboptimal sleep. It feels like a drug when you get really good sleep.
I agree.
You feel so energized and full of life, where it's like, I want to do that all the time.
I did that once. I got like really, really good sleep one day. I was with James. We were doing something, and I was like, James, is this what that feels like to like get good sleep? And he's like, what? And I'm like, I am so energized right now, and I have no caffeine, no substances. I am ready to run through a wall. And he's like, yeah, dude, like that's what you should be feeling like.
That's just life, bro. What are you talking about?
But you could, there are times though where I've got 4 hours of sleep and I felt like that and I felt great just because it was good, deep sleep. And I've had times when I got 8 hours of sleep and I was still drogging because for whatever reason I was kicking and screaming in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We've been getting some really good sleep lately, I feel like. And the Aura Ring does definitely bring it into your awareness. But like by the time we get done with work, make dinner, and it's not the best when you eat right before you go to bed because your body's digesting. But it's like you're gonna eat when you can eat. You know, it's not like I can finish work early to eat.
I did a sleep study a while back, several years ago. I went to the doctors and I was like, I'm having trouble sleeping and stuff. And they're like, all right, let's get you to do a sleep study. So I went and did a sleep study. And like they were supposed to send the results to the doctors, never heard from them, called them like months later. And they're like, oh, we sent it to the wrong doctor. Like, okay, cool. So let's go ahead and pull that back. They're like, we don't know where that's at.
Oh, sick.
It's like sick. It's awesome. So just HIPAA violations left and right, right? Like they're like, I was like, whatever. It's sleep. It's sleep shit. The Chinese can have it. I don't care.
Did you get charged for doing that?
No, it was free. I didn't get charged. Insurance probably paid for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like, I just went to the doctors a while later and I was like, yeah, the people you recommended me to lost all my shit. And they were like, yeah, they shut down. They're like, yeah, they were having problems.
How do you do that? How do you send it to the wrong doctor?
Lazy people.
Yeah. Yeah.
People that are sleep deprived.
Mm-hmm.
How ironic.
It's funny too, like the more companies you work at though, I mean, I do get it, how dysfunction happens. That was something I was thinking about today because there was like some sales calls I was going to get on. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. The resistance coming up, you know? And I, for the most part, pretty much, I do enjoy what I do. Like I would say most of the time, especially after a sale, you make a couple of sales back to back in a day. You're like, there's nothing that can touch me. I'm God.
I'm the best it's ever been.
I'll hop on the phone with a piss poor prospect and just by the end of it, they're like, yeah, dude, I'm not buying, but like, I'm really glad I talked to you. I'm like, cool. Yeah, you've been blessed because I already made some sales.
You've been educated, sir.
Yeah. Ma'am. Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, you have no money. Sweet. I'm really glad you booked a call with me. That's such a valuable use of both of our times.
When you get good at your job, call me. We'll sell you something.
That's also a nod to marketing. When the marketing for a company works so well that you inspire broke ass people to have a call. Like I would never.
I should call them.
Can you imagine calling a place like going to a car dealership and you got a 400 credit score and no money in the bank and you're like, dude, you just had such an incredible ad. Like I felt like I needed to come here to drive a car.
It's like us trying to look for guests and we're like, we should go to Salesforce and get their product. Let's get a CRM that knows what they're doing.
Custom built out. All the bells and whistles.
Man, I learned that with Salesforce. I didn't realize until like I truly got deep into sales of how customized their product is. And customized, but not just customized, you got to buy that shit. Like you will not only buy that shit, you will buy for the consultation to buy that.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
their model's wild because once you buy it, they continue to sell other things to you. Cause they're like, oh no, yeah, like we built that thing out for you, but like, of course it's broken. You need this other thing to connect to that thing, and we'll definitely do it for you. So how would you like to move forward? We can take the enterprise account. We can use your individual division account. Who are we charging here?
Tell you what, Benioff is one of those people too that thinks he's holy of holies.
Who?
Mark Benioff, I think
The
he's
founder?
the founder of Salesforce.
Mm-hmm.
I read his book, listened to an audio book, and he talks about how his whole life story and how he founded it. And then at the end of the book, he goes into the end of like tree hugging, save the planet, da da da. And I was it was so bad. I was just like, the book's done. I'm not even going to listen to that anymore. But I was like, you're talking about everyone else sacrificing when you did all this work to get to where you're at, and now you're trying to be the tree hugger guy.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to be the hippie, like, oh yeah, whatever type of guy. But you didn't do all that to this point. You did that now once you have the money, so you can go lollygag and do whatever you want now.
A good book I read is it's a super short read. I think you can read it maybe like 2-3 hours. It's called Shit the Moon Says, and it's by the founder of Solterra, the ayahuasca retreat center. This dude, he made I think like a couple $100 million selling his insurance company or something like that. So he had a rise, he like built a company kind of like the Mark Cuban route, if I'm remembering correctly. Like he had pretty good money and he was like, I'm going to retire. Did that for maybe like a year or two and was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just kind of like wasting my skills. Maybe started to get into alcohol at that time or something like that. Built an even bigger company. So it wasn't like too many companies that before he had like a ton of money and like a real bad drug and alcohol problem, like running through like all of the vices. And then he went and did ayahuasca and just like totally flipped his world upside down kind of thing. And then he decided to open up Solterra. Like it's just a really, really good short read, and it's not polished. Like this thing didn't go off to an editor. If it did, it was just for spell checking. He's just like, here's what I did. I was a massive piece of a shit of a human being, and I'm just trying to help other people. He's like, in the book, I think I'm quoting it directly. He's like, I didn't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I hired people that I felt like did know what they were doing. And so he just poached really good people from other orgs. And he's like, I will pay you 2-3 times whatever you're making right now. Just please go figure out how to make this thing work for other people. Because I'm not the guy. I just have a lot of money. And I think this would be cool to help people with. So it was born from like a really cool place. And I guess the moon is what told him to do, the next steps or whatever. So it's Shit the Moon Says. It's just a really good unpolished read. I was like, you go, man. He's like,
I was somebody that like has the mindset of somebody when he started before he made all of his money. Now he made all of his money. Then he hasn't lost all of his money yet, but he kind of got to that old mindset. And now he's like, all right, we got to fucking get back to the old grind here.
Well, that's the other part too about like the human game. I feel like it's like we want to accumulate, but we don't want to lose ourselves in the process. Like we want to grow, but we somehow want to stay the same. It's kind of a weird, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with that thought, but I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, how much money do I really want to make? And how much do I want to give up of who I am to get there? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do I want to start my own company and just be lost in work for 3 years? Do I want to just be successful as a salesperson, but you're always grinding? And then, I don't know, just random thoughts I was having the other day. I probably got a little too high or something.
I don't know why this brought this up, but a buddy of mine, talk about professional hippie. He was, he works for a company, a big company. We both know him, very, very large company. And he is pretty high up in there. And, we went to a football game, a USF football game, and I met some of his directors and VPs and all that. They were really cool. And you could tell like everyone was being pretty professional, right? Like being professional, they're being professional, whatever. And then we're walking out of the stadium and My buddy had to go to the bathroom, and you just saw that professionalism drop as soon as he walked away. Because now it's all the buddies, the directors and VPs, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I just got some good new weed. I can't wait to go home and try that out." And they're like, "Oh hell yeah, dude!" And I was just, but it was because I don't work for them. They
Yeah.
didn't care. They were, just,
Yeah.
or they forgot I was there. I don't know, but it
Right.
was just so funny to watch like that level drop, but just see people act normal again.
Yeah.
You know, just like the professionalism drop. Obviously they were putting on a front around.
Yeah.
I'll bleep that out. But like, yeah, it was. They were
You
trying to
said
put
it
on a
twice,
front
by the
there.
way, just so you know. So,
Oh, did I?
yeah, I'll timestamp this, but you're good.
I'll bleep that out and I'll edit that. But yeah, so it was just funny just to see that like professionalism drop and kind of go back to normal and to just be like, oh yeah, we're all just fucking
Being bros.
trying to be ourselves, trying to feel like we're still in college, hanging out with everybody.
The weird part is too, I have definitely seen it where if there isn't that mystique, like when I was in management, that was a thing that was like constantly preached, is like have mystique with the people under you. Because if you do get too buddy too loose, they lose the respect. The only person that I've seen pull this off, with an exception, is Tyler Tarr. The team that he used to run in Cutco, the district, was known as the Misfits. And so my boss, Matt, like he told me directly, because I was in Pensacola, so it would have been easy for me to train in Tallahassee. But he's like, I don't care if you go left, right, up, but do not train in Tallahassee. He's like, what Tyler does, you can't replicate his training style, his management style. He didn't care as long as people were getting results and how they were doing it. So they would have literal parties at the office and like parties, you know, on the weekend kind of thing, like celebrating success. Only person I've ever seen. And he still had the mystique because like, I think for some people, some managers, if they have the innate not try hard cool factor, like they're just actually cool human beings, then you want to be like them versus the managers that are like, yeah, I just got some good weed, whatever. You're like, yeah, I could do what you do. I think that is kind of the deciding factor, you know, is like really the desire for someone to want to be you versus like thinking they can do what you do in a 6-month period or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that blow up in managers' faces when they drop
the responsibility to do that too.
Yeah.
Like you have to have the willpower and to like be like, I can't be buddy with you too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fine line, isn't it? Like if you have a superior that's like cool and you're like, yeah, like the people, like I was at my boss's house today and he's super cool. But like, dude, when we started talking about business stuff, it was like watching a shark roll its eyes back like there's prey. I was like, hey.
Well, it's like too when we went to the New Year's party years ago.
Yeah.
And they waited, like there was his employees were there, and he waited for some to leave, and you notice he was like, good. He checked to see if everyone who was there. By the point this time, everyone was higher level up. By the time they were there, and all of a sudden, this nitrous tank pops out. You're like, oh, we're the cool people, sweet.
Yeah. We're at the point of the night where we're like, hey, we should start a podcast.
That is exactly where that formed.
I think this podcast has reached full inception mode. When I see people ragging on like online, they're like, yeah, this was definitely, we should start a podcast, bro. I'm like, I don't know why
100%.
people shit on people wanting to create. Like, what do you think it is about that? You see somebody make like, especially social media, because it kind of is a form of someone expressing themselves like art wise. Like when we were at Okeechobee, Abby and I were talking about this the other day. Do you remember? I don't remember what set we were at, but we were like off to the left, and this girl had her friend recording her. Like,
yeah, we were at
bright light. That house set, 10 foil hats, 10 cups,
10 liquor.
10 liquor. Yeah.
10 liquor.
It's like
amazing set.
Hey man, I can appreciate you wanting to share your art with the world for like a minute or two. But we're on 5 minutes of constant flash.
A bright flash too, like huge towards the stage.
Everyone around you's got cockroach eyes. Like, I'm just saying, let's have a little bit of self-awareness for everyone else that came to
Your
actually enjoy
costumes
the
look
music.
amazing. They
Beautiful.
do. They look amazing.
You look great.
Obviously did hours of work into this.
Can't appreciate it.
Can't appreciate it. Get your video. Let's shut it off.
Like, I'm here for it, man. I'm supporting you. Send me the link. I'll like it or share it or whatever the fuck.
Whatever.
Just stop.
I want the show back.
You know? I wonder like what it is about humanity when we see people freely expressing that makes us uncomfortable. We're like, you shouldn't do that. That's wrong.
It's like what we do with watching football. Nah, you shouldn't have run up the middle there. You should have run out to the outside. You know, it's like I'm saying all this from my couch. You know, these people that listen to some podcasts, I'm sure, and then they're shitting on our podcast. Everyone's shitting on something.
Dude, speaking of football, I mean, this is like tangentially connected. When I was at Evan's house Friday, I guess it was. God, he's got a PS.
Evan lives in Austin.
He's close, San Antonio. What is it? PS5, PS4 now? I don't know what generation
5.
It's on. Yeah. God, I got to play Battlefield for the first time in years. Oh my God. Dude, video games are the shit.
Yeah.
I love gaming, dude. Oh.
I feel like as I get older, I'll be getting more into gaming, you know, especially having like kids and stuff. I'm going to be stuck at home more. And I'm like, all right, like playing this video game, getting into it.
Dude, I'm psyched. If we have a boy, for them to get into video games for a hot fucking second.
Wreck them in Mario Kart.
Dude, any game they want.
I'm going to make them cry.
As long as it's not like a RuneScape or Minecraft kind of game. I can't get down with those.
I don't get those either. Like I like Red Dead or like Fallout, those types of like long form games. But but then again, like that wasn't my generation, you know. Well, actually, it was my generation. I just never got into it. I busy mowing the lawn.
It just wasn't there for me. Like Diablo, my brother and I got really hardcore into Diablo, or the websites you'd go to that have the mini games with mini.
Those are cool. I went to like I forgot the name of the big one, but then like with the sniper games, those were cool. Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network always had good games.
Yeah,
on there.
I would imagine those are still around, but at that time, I don't think that consoles had a bunch of free games on them yet. Like I don't think you could just download like Fortnite or Tetris
you still had to go
free.
buy the game and everything for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's why those quick little games took off. And what are we talking about? Like iPhones, when those came out with free apps, like game over, you know, pun intended.
But like I see my neighbor, he's like 40 something years old, right? He's got a couple kids. One just went off to college. And he loves playing Fortnite. He's one if in his age bracket, even his son told me this. He's probably in the top 5 in the country of like playing Fortnite. And he was helping me with something the other day, and he told me one of his complaints was that he was number 3 in the game trying to play, and something happened, just glitched, and he got shot and taken out. And he was like, I'm usually an average 1, 2, or 3, and that pissed me off. that happened. I was just like, dude, if I jumped in that game, I'd die instantly.
I know. Well, that's the thing with like the pure shooters or whatever, like the Battlefield thing. I was enjoying it. If I hopped in the mix where you got to know all the controls or whatever, I was getting annihilated. Like you can fly jets and helicopters and all this shit.
Oh, wow.
Wild, bro. Wild. Like I'm flying a jet and getting blown out of the sky. But then I just was like, I'm going to stick to the tried and true sniper method. I'm going to go hang out here on the corner of the map and just pick them off. You get a couple kills and you're like, or you set up the machine gun. You set it up at a good spot and you mow 5 or 6 people down. I got one of those moments. I looked at Evan and I was like, I'm done. I'm good. That is the itch you're looking to scratch. I just slaughtered a bunch of people. They have no idea how bad I am. I'm good. Let's go.
The best itch to scratch was when I was playing against in college. I started picking up Halo a little bit, but people have been playing it for years, of course, by the time we were in college. And I had a buddy that was really, really good. Like he trains people, like coaches kids now how to like play Halo if they were doing tournaments and stuff. And the best was like one or two times out of all the times we played, I'd get the sword or their gun, and I would just be like perfect, like bam, hit him, bam, hit him, bam, and just watch the anger come over him, and just like bam, hit him, and he's just getting, because he knows how bad I am. It's just working out, and I'm like, you suck so much. That was the best when you're going to get someone that knows what they're doing.
You know, if this isn't appropriate, we can clip it out too. I'm just trying to think if this would come back to haunt me, but I don't think it would. So I was trying to think with my buddy the other day because I thought we had smoked together for the first time, because sometimes that memory just leaves you. And honestly, I would have said we did until you just brought up what you did. The very first time I was ever introduced to the ganj, a middle school friend of mine took me with her and her girlfriend, and we went to some guy's house, right? Dealer man. And, I'm chilling on the couch, like, I'm like 15 or something. It's so foreign. I don't know if I'm about to get like kidnapped or whatever. You just feel very uncomfortable. And they had like a volcano in the center with a little tube, because they were like, hey man, if you've never smoked before, like this will be really gentle and like the lungs kind of deal. So naturally take a couple hits, and I'm like fried. And then I look and I see one of the guys playing Halo, and I was like, oh, you play Halo? And he's like, yeah, I'm actually, so the dealer was actually a Halo pro, and I think this was Halo 1 or 2. And so I'm watching him play, and he's actually a professional, like playing in the ranked shit and just like crushing it. So that is cool in its own right. And then you mix in the first experience, and that I'm like watching Jesus come down for the first time. I'm like, what is this,
What
dude?
the hell?
So after that, I went to mix sound engineering for VBS at church. That was really cool.
Got so high you saw Jesus
twice in one day.
You saw Jesus and his cousin.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that the cousin of Jesus was Master Chief himself.
That sounds about right.
Oh man.
Goodness,
so you think TikTok's gonna get shut down?
Bro, I think it will, because they said it's going to the Senate. It's like, they said unless it's sold, which it's not going to sell. Well, there was that thing that they tried to do years ago where they were saying we'll continue to allow it if a U.S. company manages the U.S. data.
And I thought they did. Did they?
It never went through.
Oh.
So it's still all managed by the whatever company owned TikTok.
Yeah,
I guess owns
ByteDance.
it. Yeah, owns it in China. And so that was their first attempt. And so now they're saying we're just going to outright say, unless it's sold,
Yeah.
we're just going to outright ban it, which it would be interesting to see that happen, because then you see an outright US ban on a website, like a website banned on the local networks.
It is kind of like the Silk Road of dopamine. I mean,
it is. Yeah.
I'll be
Then
honest. TikTok serves up a feed that is.
How many kids will learn how to get on the black market just to get on TikTok?
It's not that good though.
Or the dark web, I mean.
I just feel like my Instagram reels it's all like cinematic bullshit. It's all like 5, 10, 15-second clips where it's like so heavily edited. What I live for on TikTok, and I only get, if I'm like in an hour session, a rabbit hole, I only get like 4 or 5 of them. But like the old America's Funniest Home Videos kind of vibe, where you just see someone just like playing with their kid, do a front flip down the slide, and then like the dog piles on top of them or something. Like that is the pure, like that's what I'm after.
You could just edit your algorithm on Instagram. Just look that up a few times and it'll start throwing it at you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just pretty consistent. I just feel like I don't get the same quality of videos from Instagram that I get from TikTok.
I mean, I've been getting a lot lately of like original posts. So like it doesn't have a lot of likes, it doesn't have a lot of shares or comments. For whatever reason, Instagram's just been throwing that at me. A lot of people's just original posts. It might be because of, I don't know, me posting the clips, and they're just like, oh, you post this, so maybe you want to see other people's. But
yeah, that could be it. I mean, I do know on the suggested, so when I'm not in my feed, I do know the suggested ones. Those are really good, but they're typically like bar fights, someone getting run over.
That's what I'm after.
Elephant handler getting stomped into the earth.
That's what I like.
So instead of that coming up on the feed when I do look at Instagram every now and then, I click into that and I notice for whatever reason these two things don't like connect. So it knows for the suggested videos it can get me there, and I'll go over like 5, I'll like click into those, but I don't scroll with it, so because I don't want that stuff popping up too much. Like I'm
That's
like,
what I want. I want that stuff.
Carnage. Yeah, I don't.
I like the carnage.
Yeah,
I like watching stupid people do stupid things.
I love it, but it kind of reminds me back of like the LimeWire days when you would like download really Faces of Death. Do you remember that? Did you ever get into Faces of Death?
I never saw Faces of Death. No.
That was just like, it's kind of a mental horror. Like it's got to be the closest thing to like bad video porn. I mean, it was just literally people dying, and Kel
Like
would
best,
download
like best score.
Yeah,
Similar to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh God, dude, it's almost like it gives me like a brain freeze to think about some of that. Ugh.
I don't know why. I like going to that website. I was like, let's see what news shit's up today.
In college, me and my buddy, all my friends were going out. We were pre-gaming, and my buddy was going. Dude, he was just going through it that night, and I was just like, "You all right, man?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't really feel like going out tonight." And I was amped to go out, but I was like, "I feel you." So we everybody went out, and we got like a 20-pack or whatever, 24-pack, and we just sat down, went to Best of Gore, and just for like 2 hours just got fucking hammered watching the worst the internet could serve up. Dude,
you want to see that was it was almost incredible of like the type of shit you see. Like,
dude,
that was
so wild.
Gruesome. Cartel would be like, want to see some shit? This guy didn't pay us.
I almost can't talk about it because it just brings up videos, dude. Like,
have you ever gotten to Cartelgram?
Yeah,
on Instagram?
But I like the Cartelgram where I see them making drugs or doing fun stuff with the money. I do not like the collecting the payment stuff.
The have you ever seen the planes on Cartelgram?
Yeah.
Like some of the maneuvers that they pull off.
Have you seen the ones they get shot at too? They'll land and they show all the bullet holes in the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the dude gets out like it's just another day of the office. He's like, yeah, look at that.
Or they're going across the ocean and they show the sub with like stacked full of bricks and they're just like, it's another Tuesday.
Yeah.
Going across the ocean.
When those guys get caught, like the sub dudes, how much time are they doing? You think like 20, 40 years? Are they getting deported? Like, how's that work?
I don't know.
Because the cartel knows whatever percentage of these people are going to get caught. Right.
Yeah.
And those guys know. So I would imagine those guys, they must have done something wrong or like they owe a debt or.
I would assume that, or you just come up as a teenager through it, the system.
Yeah.
like,
Trying to impress someone, earn your stripes.
This is my job.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's the thing I've never really understood about the way that some people approach the drug dealing. And I get it. It's the way you're brought up and the influences, but the payoff is so not worth it.
I mean, look at our country. There's drug dealers in our country. Transporters.
I'm talking about not Mexico, it almost makes more sense for me. I'm probably realistically talking more about our country. It's like if you knew, especially you're a black man in America, maybe you dropped out of high school or whatever, like there's only certain opportunities afforded to you based on population lottery where you're raised. But dude, like the thought of someone ripping away 20 years of my life, 30 years of my life for a substance, that's just crazy to think about, dude. Like what would someone have to pay you to take 20 years of your life?
Like a shipment, probably like $1 million. Like if someone was like, I'll give you $1 million to transport this, they'll probably figure it out.
Let's say like if you knew you were going to get caught, you knew, hey, you're going to spend 20 years in prison.
Oh, like, you're going to get caught. You're going to get this across the border. You're going to get caught in the process. Oh, like probably enough to take like probably 10, 20 mil.
You would give up 20 years of your life for $20 million.
Probably $1 million a year. You got to give me $1 million a year. Because then because then I could give that to my family and be like, y'all are
you Mexican in this scenario? Or I'm talking to Dylan Wooden as you stand. If someone gave you $20 million, you'd give up until the time you're 52.
If I knew my family, like my kids and family were taken care of, and I have to be at fucking rock bottom, you know.
I'm talking about right now, dude. As you stand, what would you give up 20 years of your life for?
If I've hit rock bottom, sure, I'll be like 20 mil. I'll go hit it. But like, no, I've got too much trajectory at the moment.
I'm talking about right now. What would it take?
Oh, I mean, right now, like 500 mil. I have to think about like what I would earn in that 20 years that I would be out, and like the trajectory of like where my path is going. Dude, I'd probably say like 500 mil for sure.
I don't know that I could do it at all.
I mean, in my mind, my brain's telling me no, don't do it. But if I had to put a number on it, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to be north of billions. But even then, it's like if you knew you're not going to die in prison and you're in an ideal prison.
But it doesn't sound like, because then I'm missing out on so much. Like I know it's almost like everything that I'm missing out on is worth more than that money. Like I can't go to backpacking. I can't go kayaking. I can't go experience, like not being able to experience my family in the outdoors. Oh, that's
knowing your parents are going to pass away while you're inside. Like knowing you had a kid tomorrow.
Like I'd rather live in a van, basically. And if they're like, we'll give you all this money, but you have to go do this, or you have to go live in a van. Like I almost want to just go live in a van and deal with it, you know?
Dude, I could make a sweet setup in a van instead of going to prison for 20 years.
Especially these days. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get a sick van set up.
Yeah, I don't know about Minnie. I could go smaller than that though. She's a bitch to part. You know?
She is a bitch apart.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I gotta get her a little tuned up this weekend.
She still give you the wobble?
Yeah, I gotta get that ironed out. Because we only have like what, 2 weeks till you're here? 3 weeks?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, so I gotta get that dialed in.
I cannot
wait
for that. By the way, hello, Jelly Bean. You have a nice butt, Jelly Bean.
How you doing, sir?
Look at that thing. Dude, that lineup worked out great for when we're going to Eclipse.
So great.
It worked out perfect.
Perfect.
Like, oh, all right. Well, we're just going to push it to there, and now we're going to go. STS 9 is Monday night, by the way.
Yeah, I'd love to pop in and see them. We'll have to definitely do like a little lineup card so we want to see, because I'm also really excited for the other stuff, just like random stuff to check out.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the day stuff is going to be a lot of the speakers.
Yeah, that's why I want to go kind of like heckle a little bit. Earth is flat. Dinosaurs are real. Something like that, you know.
Did you really go to space?
Oh, what I love about my wife too.
Are you an astronaut if you go to space?
Abby now like naturally does the mayonnaise bit. Like we're in Excision, she's like, mayonnaise. Man, I'm like, I'm the one tripping out. I'm like, where's that mayonnaise coming from? Who's got the mayonnaise? All right, man. Well, that's it. I think we did it. think we figured it out, bro.
Another one for the books.
Nailed it. We nailed it.
We hope y'all hated it.
Dude, I don't remember what episode it was. I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, and you closed so hard on that. That's what we should start doing, is like have some little closing bits. You know, see if we can work that in there, little closing bits. Because dude, you made me laugh so hard. I'm still thinking about that. Well, hey, if you guys didn't hate this, feel free to like, subscribe. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.